What is going on, guys? It is Trifecta J here, back with episode 4 of my Royals franchise. As today we will be going through the month of May. We went through the month of April the last couple of episodes. You can see the Royals went 14-10 in April. A good start to the season with a 7-game winning streak. Struggled a little bit down the stretch, 4 games over 500. Not a bad opening month. So a look at the stats from the month of April. Salvador Perez playing incredibly well, hitting .380. If he can continue anything close to that, he is definitely the franchise centerpiece. Already a great defensive player as well. Jason Hamill pitching pretty well. Matt Strahm, a nice surprise. He had a tough first outing, but since then has pitched really well. Kelvin Herrera, an ERA just over 1. And so now looking at the first few games of May, you can see we have gone 2-5, so not a good opening, and we would end up getting a couple of games in Tampa Bay, winning 2, and now a chance to win the series. Bottom of the 9th is Evan Longoria up, and the first pitch of the inning is crushed off of Mike Minor, and Evan Longoria will walk it off, so the series goes 2-2. Now we move forward to a game against the Baltimore Orioles where Kelvin Herrera is on the mound facing Mark Trumbo. You can see it's a 2-2 count against Trumbo. He hits a high fly ball to Soler in right field. He is under it. Speedy Gentry on second base, and he's not going to test Soler's arm. Might have been a smart decision. Now a 2-1 count and a great pitch that just catches the corner. So now 2 outs, down to the final strike is Chris Davis, and he goes down swinging on the slider. Kelvin Herrera picks up another save. He's pitched very well so far and could be a very nice trade piece if that is the route that we decide to go. Now we would end up taking 2 of 3 from Baltimore, going into a game against New York, and Ian Kennedy fractured his wrist, so he's out 1 to 2 months. So Nate Carnes will go back to the rotation, and Chris Withrow would get called up. You can see not the greatest stretch of games. We would nearly get swept by the Mets, and then the Indians we take 2 of 3. So now going to a series against Detroit, and the bottom of the 9th, it's Eric Hosmer up, and Billy Burns takes off, and he is not even close to getting in there. A great pitch out. That was the 2nd straight pitch out they had done, and it ends up working out well for them. I was not expecting them to do it again, and Billy Burns did not get a very good jump, and that would do it for that game, as Detroit was victorious in game 1 of the series. So now in game 2, the Royals would take that one, so we have a rubber match coming up in game 3. You had Lorenzo Cain and Salvador Perez both hitting homers. Jason Hamill gets the win, pitches 6 innings. Chris Withrow did pitch a game. And now a look towards the end of May. Look at the stats. 12 stolen bases from Lorenzo Cain. Brian Pena hitting .314 off the bench. And still over 300 is Salvador Perez. Our starters are struggling as a whole. Some of our relievers are pitching very well, including Brian Flynn, who still has not given up a run. Like I said, now in the rubber match of this series, the final game in May, before we move, the next episode will be the MLB draft. Jason Vargas is on the bump today, a 4.55 ERA. He's got to get that down to be a more effective member of our starting rotation. Miguel Cabrera up with 2 outs, and he hits that one softly, a broken bat. Moustakas is there and fires it in time for the final out of the inning. So a 1-2-3 inning for Jason Vargas. Daniel Norris is on the mound for the Tigers, a 3.2 ERA, 3-3 on the season. I look at the Royals lineup. Billy Burns leading off, Soler, Hosmer, and Cain are 2, 3, and 4 hitters. And then Salvador Perez hitting 6, hitting .312 on the season. And with the way he's hitting, we might have to consider moving him up in the lineup, as here's Eric Hosmer, and that one will get all the way to the wall. The right fielder is there, and the throw is in, and it's a double for Eric Hosmer. So 2 outs for Lorenzo Cain. A high pitch in the zone. He hits it high. It's a fly ball. And going out for it is Collins, who has the final out of the inning. And nothing doing for the Royals. This is one of the most dangerous lineups in all of baseball. Now it's Justin Upton who gets it right past Moustakas at third base. Actually, I believe that was Cuthbert at third base. Now a 1-2 count with 2 outs. It's Castellanos up, and Merrifield cannot get there, and so will now be runners at first and second with 2 outs. Now the bases are loaded, 1-2 count, and going down looking a beautiful pitch right on the edge of the strike zone. as it'll be Salvador Perez up in the bottom of the second. That one is bounced, and Castellanos can't handle it at third, so it's a single for Salvador Perez. Norris at 20 pitches so far. It's Cuthbert up. He hits that one hard to left field, just barely misses the homer, and it will be a single, as now runners on the corner, one out for Alcides Escobar. That ball's hit into the gap. Both outfielders are going to go back for it, and it will drop. So Salvador Perez will be able to come home and score. Cuthbert will go to third. He had to hold up to make sure it wasn't caught, or else he would have scored also. 1-1 count for Whit Merrifield. And now this one is hit, and the center fielder coming on. He will get it. And now tagging up is Cuthbert. Cabrera is there. He will fire it home, but nowhere close to in time. So still a runner on third. It's now Billy Burns. And with 2 outs, he drops the suicide squeeze, and Castellanos can't barehand it. The runner will score, and Burns is safe at first. Now it's Jorge Soler. He hits it high to right field. Going back is Upton, and he is there for the final out of the inning. But that is 3 runs scored for the Kansas City Royals. Kinsler up at the dishes. He's going to try and get something going. He hits that one hard to the wall. Soler going back. He cannot get there in time, and he will fire it in as Kinsler heads to third, and the relay throw just barely behind him. Now it is Iglesias up to hit, and Cuthbert can't make the play. A bad angle taken by Gordon. He's going to have to go all the way to the warning track and fire it in, and that's a double for Iglesias. Probably should have been a single. Now it's Cabrera up. He hits that one hard. Ranging out is Kane. He gets there. He'll fire it in as the relay throw from Escobar is not in time. And now a runner on third as JD Martinez will come to the plate for the second time today. And this time he crushes one to left field. And we are knotted up at 3. A big time bomb from JD Martinez as we get a look at the AL Central standings. As the Cleveland Indians starting to run away with it, up by 14 games over 500. 6.5 games over the Royals, who are 1 game over 500, as now it's Salvador Perez, and the chopper this time does not eat up Castellanos, and he's able to make the play. It's Jorge Soler this time, and he hits that one hard to left field. Coming on is Justin Upton, and a hard hit ball goes right to the left fielder. Here is JD Martinez once again, and he'll go down swinging. A great fastball, might have took a little something off, only at 87 miles per hour. And now it's Victor Martinez. He crushes this one nearly the same exact spot of JD Martinez's home run. And it is a 1-run lead for the Detroit Tigers. This one's a little chopper to Vargas, and the pitcher's able to make the play at first to end the inning. Bottom 6, it's Hosmer up at the plate. He hits that one high to left field. Upton is there. He's going to have to go to the warning track, and he is able to make the catch for the final out of the inning. Now in the bottom of the 7th, it's Francisco Rodriguez who will come on. He has appeared in 18 games with an ERA over 4. As Alcides Escobar pops this one up, the right fielder JD Martinez will come on, and that's a perfect inning for Francisco Rodriguez. Victor Martinez up once again, and this time he'll just pop it into left field. Gordon is there, and he's got it. And that's the final out of that inning. Bruce Rondon's really struggled so far this year as he will enter, appearing in 10 games, 9 2/3 inning with an ERA over 5. As there is a nasty slider that gets Merrifield swinging, and Brandon Moss will come on as a pinch hitter. He has been real good so far this year. He's been a nice power bat, DHing most of the time. But on this pitch, he pops it straight up. The catcher will camp out under it, and he's got it for the second out of the inning. 2 outs, it's Jorge Soler up, and he crushes that ball to left field. Going back is Upton, and he runs out of room, and it's a home run for Jorge Soler, a big time bomb. We're now tied up at 4, and the next batter's Eric Hosmer, and in the bottom of the 8th, the bats have come alive, back-to-back home runs. That one off the foul pole and just barely stays fair, and we now have our 5-4 lead. Lorenzo Cain not able to keep the rally going. He goes down as Rondon goes back to the slider, as Kelvin Herrera is 16 for 16 so far on this season in saved opportunities, an ERA under 1. But he's going against the middle of the Tigers lineup as it's Upton going down on 3 pitches. You can see he is 4th in the American League in saves with 16. The next batter is Nick Castellanos going down swinging. That slider's been very effective so far. Down to their final strike, a dribbler down the left field line, and Cuthbert barehands it and makes the throw to Hosmer at first. And your Royals are now 2 games over 500, 6 games back of the Cleveland Indians in first place. You can see the celebrations by the outfielders. A good win today. Bats really came alive with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. That was the big difference. But I hope you did enjoy today's episode. If you did, please like down below. Leave your comments on the game down below. And like I said earlier in the video, the next episode will be the draft. So let me know what positions you think we need to target in the upcoming draft. But like I said, I hope you did enjoy. I will see you for episode 5 and the MLB draft along with a few other things in that episode. 'Cause I'm out.